Oh, good morning, friends. Hi, I made it. A little delay there. Computers. Let me put some on. Get a little more light on here. So, good morning. It is Friday. It's November 20th, 2020. So, today, well, most of the reason, the way that I like to teach and to practice is to really notice the nature of being human. And as we understand our nature, I like using that word because it feels like, um, yeah, it's natural. But as we understand our human nature, we'll understand things like I am of the nature to worry. I am of the nature to kind of make up stories about what might happen. And in a way, I am of the nature to kind of live in a fantasy, a made up world. So, you might make up like what someone else thinks about you. I bet they think that I'm this. So we want to see the way that we do these things. And we do that by practicing mindfulness, where we see, like, hey, wait a minute, I'm making up a story right now. So my theme this week is this quality of patience. Could we notice in our own natural way, I am of the nature to be impatient sometimes. And so we all even know what I love about this idea of patience is that it's so easily understood. It's a common word. It's not a yoga word or a real Dharma word, but there is something about the spiritual practice of cultivating patience. So, because when we're doing that, we have to come into the present moment. We can't be, impatience can bring about things like greed or craving. Like, I just want things to be different. It can make us just angry and frustrated, even at the smallest thing, waiting for a red light. So we want to see how I'm of the nature to feel impatient, but I can cultivate these qualities. So we're here to learn about what we can do about this and to practice it. So go ahead and close your eyes. Maybe locate your body and feel like you're sitting. Like I'm sitting in a way, clearly that you could actually be patient, because we can sit in a way where it hurts. Like if you're sitting cross-legged and it's like, ooh, your knee really hurts. That might lead to impatience. Then it might feel like you can't wait to be done with this seated pose. So we have to listen to our bodies then. Like, okay, if I'm going to practice being patient, and really need to drop into the present. I am not projecting into the future. I'm not kind of, regurgitating the past. So, what does it feel like then? And I find that increasing my breath is taking some deeper breaths here. If you want to add the arms, you can here. So, we're going to inhale. If you want to bring your arms up, you can. Big inhale. And then the exhale, releasing the arms down. So with Hatha Yoga, there is this kind of forcefulness of action. So if I breathe and I move, I'm more likely to completely and fully experience being in the present. Breathing, moving. So what would patience feel like here? And there is kind of a spectrum with patience. Like, well, I can still feel like one little thorn left of impatience. I kind of want to do something else. I find that even during our yoga practice is a great time to practice this because when we're in a pose, when you're in a yoga pose, sometimes you find yourself waiting. Like you're kind of into the pose, you kind of like it, and then suddenly you find yourself like, okay, now I'm done with the pose and I want to do a different one. So intentionally moving into the present. Good. Now, keeping the arms down. And let's just go ahead and let go of seated pose. And just go ahead and roll right onto your back. So as you roll onto your back, you're going to take your arms and legs right up into the air. They're just upside down. And just move your hands, circle your hands around and circle your feet around. Just get the wrists and the ankles moving here. So we start to really bring awareness deep into the body. Like we look closer and closer. So we get this rich experience of the present. Now go ahead and just reach your arms above your head. So they go way, way up. You could take your palms up. And then just bend your knees, take your feet onto the floor here. So we're going to just do a few with the right leg. You're going to pull the right knee into the chest, and then you extend the right leg, not along the floor. It's actually hovering above the floor. And then you pull that right knee into the chest, and then it extends again. Just reach long. And do that 2 more times. Just pull the knee in, and then reach that right leg. Breathe while you're doing this. Good. And then that right foot just to the floor. And the left knee pulls into the chest. And then you reach that left leg really long, but it hovers. Pull the knee into the chest and then extend. And just doing this while you're breathing. Just wake up. Ah. Good. And then both feet on the floor again. And then you're going to cross your right shin over your left thigh. So this is kind of like that number 4 pose where you're going to lift your left foot and just draw that right shin like it could pull into your chest. And then you just let that left foot drop back down. So play with that, lifting that left leg, that left foot, as it draws the right leg into your chest. So you just do that a few times while breathing. If your shoulders don't like this arm position, you can take your arms out to the side. So just play with this, like pulling in, just repeatedly. Good. Now, next time you lift that left foot, you extend your left leg. Just let it lengthen your spine. Good. And then as you completely let this go, the feet back to your mat. Cross the left shin over your right thigh bone, and then you just lift that right foot. Now make sure your spine stays long. Try not to round your back here. Pulling that left shin in towards your chest, and then right foot down. And just play with this. Breathing. So it's yeah, like you're really patiently doing this. Just a nice little warm up. Keep the chest really open. Good. And then as you release, now, I'm sorry, don't release. We forgot to do this. Pull the right or that left shin in and then extend the right leg. So just reaching up, long right leg. Good. And then now, as you let this go completely, reach down with your hands and grab your thighs, and then just swing your legs to come back up. As you come up to seated, let's take the legs wide apart. So really wide, open apart, and give the little massage. So you're just going, you're reaching down one leg, you come up, you go down the other leg. So really press, like I'm pressing my fingertips, like really pressing on my leg, like I'm waking up the front of the leg, the sides, the back, just getting this big good morning. Now you could maybe feel this big stretch through your back or through the side of your body, and just let that happen. Really organic stretching. Lean back. Take your legs together here with bent knees and just really lift your chest up. Wide, wide, wide across your chest. And then soles of the feet together. Just reach the knees out. So now lift your lower back. Really, it's almost just a back bend here. Good. As you let go of this, you're going to go ahead and just flip on over to all fours. So on all fours, let's see. You're going to take your knees kind of wider apart on all fours. Knees are wide apart, but your toes stay close together. So let's take a little twist here. That left hand moves towards the center of the mat a little, and then just roll open your right shoulder. You could even keep your right elbow bent and just feel like, oh, my shoulder is really opening up. And then nice long spine. Maybe that right arm just reaching wherever. Switching sides, the right hand comes down. Now pushing into the floor here, just start to open that left shoulder. So you're wide across your chest. Breathing here, maybe left arm reaching up. And as you let this go, we're going to do this back and forth. So when we practice, so we could remember like, oh yeah, I'm being patient. How could I be patient with my body? Feeling your way into this. So I find that breathing, steady, deep breaths really helps to keep my full attention here, connected, curious. So as we continue to understand our nature, just I am of the nature to feel a little stiff at 9:30 in the morning. So, like, how could I explore, then gradually warming up the body? Hmm. Good. And then as you let this go, um, you're going to come up onto your knees here. And actually, I'm going to de-sock. Make sure you have socks up because we're going to start connecting the feet to the floor. So on your knees here, we're just going to take that right foot forward. So you're on bended knee here, but your weight is on that left leg. And then really lift up through your spine. Reach your arms up here. Big inhale. And then as you exhale, your arms reach way out to the side and all the way down. And then you just inhale. You're lifting up, lift your ribs, and then the arms come down as you exhale. And just one more breath there. Just inhale, lift your navel up, and the exhale down. Now that right foot is going to inch forward a little bit and just move gradually into a little low lunge so that back thigh starts to drop down. And keep the heart lifted. Good. And then lean forward a little bit. You could take hands on your right thigh. Your back foot's going to tuck under. You're going to straighten that back leg. So Crescent Pose. Straighten that back leg, lifting up here. So there's a complete, from your pubic bone, that lifting up. I feel like this one has turned into one of my favorites. You might notice as we've been focusing, it's kind of like psoas month. Really working with that psoas stretch. Take your right hand down to that right thigh for a moment and do a little side stretch for the left side of your body, keeping your left leg straightening, straightening, straightening. Good. Now as you let go, completely let go, take your hands all the way down and just move right into your first down dog. That the feet step back. Breathing, just feeling the earth, the grounding down here, the straightening of your arms and your legs. And then as your knees touch down, you come back onto your knees. So you lift up and that will take that left foot forward. So you're balancing on your right leg. And really notice what's happening in your pelvis, that we want that real level pelvis, not spilling the pelvis forward. So I find I really need to lift up the front hip bones and the arms reach up, grounding. This is almost like you're balancing on your arms reach way out to the side and they come down, and you just breathe as you're here. You inhale, big inhale, and the exhale coming down. So you're kind of working that space around your chest. You're working the capacity of your lungs here. Bringing full attention into this smooth breath and movement. Good. And then next time arms come down, you just take that left foot forward a little bit. And it moves into a little more of a lunge. So you stay really light here though. So we're not taking the hands down. So we need this real strength to stay lifted up. So with the hands on that left knee or left thigh, you could tuck your back toes under and then start to straighten that leg, but really find your feet here. So you can straighten that right leg. From your pubic bone, the pubic bone kind of lifts up. And then you lift your heart and you reach your arms up. Keep growing, straightening that back leg. Lifting right up through crown of the head. And then even take your left hand down and do a little side stretch through your right side. So you lean just a little bit. Lift your ribs up. Straighten the back leg. Good. As you let go of this, hands coming down, moving back to your down dog. So we're going to do a funny little variation on down dog, which is almost instead of that sharp angle in your hips, you're going to walk forward a little bit so you can take your feet on the floor. Now, this is kind of a funny hybrid of down dog and Uttanasana, your forward bend, because you do want your feet down. Always remember that, especially since we're Zooming, right, Raj? You might need your own yoga props. So, you might need, in order to get my feet down, I have to use some blocks. Right. Good. And then you come on up, come up to standing. As you come up, just take the feet a little bit wider apart. And then just let your arms really swing and go into that big swingy twist action. Feel your feet on the floor. You can see how I'm almost doing a little dance movement here with like one foot down and I lift a little toe touch. So that standing leg, you're kind of opening, spreading, opening the sole of the foot. Keep going and breathing here. And how could you, really plant those seeds of patience as you grow your understanding of this? Because this is a good one to really stay with. I call this the washing machine. It's like you're intentionally agitating. And just like a washing machine, you have to do it for a while, but with the right effort. Good. Now as we let this go, you're just going to sneak right up towards the front of your mat. We'll take palms together. Standing. Feel the back side of your body lengthening here. Arms coming up. Forward bend. Let's just move through sun salutation as you fold over. Drop your head. And then go ahead and step your left foot way back to a big high lunge position. So the back leg is straight, your front knee, right knee is reaching forward. You might find yourself really lifting up on the fingertips here. And then we could notice, if you're just kind of waiting. So the opposite of this would be patience and really growing your understanding of this. Breathing, feeling the strength. Now we're going to transition. It's almost like I'm in a half plank. So I'm going to move to plank. Hands come down. Right foot goes back to plank pose. Very lightly, the knees touch straight down to the mat. Now, navel lifts, your tailbone stays in as you do a few push-ups here. Bend your elbows, straighten. Bend your elbows, straighten. So you can lower as low as you want in your push-ups. When you bend your elbows, try not to drop your head down. So you will feel that weight of your head. It's like a bowling ball. So you want to keep the head attached. Good. And then all the way down onto your belly. Extend the legs way back. And as you go to your Cobra Pose, there's that grounding of the pubic bone. So wide, open across the chest. Even lift your chin, get that open feeling around your throat, the mouth. As you lower down, let your head just hover above the floor and then really lengthen and lift your legs. Make sure, you can still stay your chest here. As you release, moving now back to down dog. So lift up. Sharp angle in the hips now. So in order to do that, you might need to keep your heels really lifted. So you're going to lightly touch your knees down and you're landing like on all fours here. So we're going to take our big balance and hip opener where you take your left foot and just let it swing out to the left. Your knees stay pretty close together here. Right leg, as it reaches back through your heel, you draw your navel in and you open up to the right. So you're lifting up through that bottom arm, head aligned, and then as you're ready, that right arm reaching up. Keep pulling your right heel way back. Breathe, feel. So yeah, even if this is trembly or wobbly, that we're moving deeper into the experience rather than waiting. Throat nice and spacious. Now just the top arm comes down as that hand lands down. Then the right knee down, just kind of back to neutral here, legs together. Right foot swings out to the right slightly. Left leg reaching back. Even that movement takes your weight onto your right leg. Not so much weight on your right arm. Reach way back with left leg. Draw the navel in. And then opening that left shoulder as you're ready, left arm reaching up. So the breath really brings your attention to your alignment, the inner space, and even the effort here. Just that right effort. Very lightly, the left hand comes down and then the left knee lands. Take yourself back to downward facing dog. Now, in order to do that, toes tuck under, but as you lift, you have to take a wider stance. So maybe your feet go back, or maybe your hands go forward, but wider stance here. So spine can lengthen, hips reach way back. And then just come to standing. Walk forward all the way up. Reach the arms up and palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment just to feel what it feels like to really stand upright, your full height. And then arms reaching up. Arms go way out to the side as you go to your forward bend. So the left foot stays forward as you step your right foot back. And here you are in that big high lunge position. It's interesting, the effort here of this kind of to create this real buoyant feeling. So we're not kind of just hanging and collapsing in this pose. Back leg straightens. Lining through spine all the way to your brain. So you just keep moving into the pose. The subtle positioning, or kind of refresh your effort. Now, could you go directly to your plank where the hands come down and you just take that left foot back? Very lightly, knees drop straight down. So make sure, because this one too could easily kind of collapse or droop. So you do draw your tailbone in. Do not drop your head as you do your little push-ups. Now, when you're doing these, you might find yourself doing really subtle little adjustment, like your hand position. Bend, straighten. Bending, straightening. And then as you lower all the way down, legs go back. So we're going to lift up into a little variation of Shalabhasana, where you lift your head, you lift your shoulders, and then you lift your legs. And it's good to feel, when we're doing a full body back bend, how you have to use your glutes. So lower down. And even start with that little glute engagement, butt muscles. But then the lift of the head, how that moves through like your whole spine or your back muscles. And then as you contract to lift up here. Now, as you lower down, you might lower, but just hover a little bit and then lift up again. So get to know the poses or the movements that you find yourself just waiting for it to be over. And that's a good time to practice. Like, oh, I don't have to just wait. This is a good place to investigate and just feel your body. You see the goodness of doing this work. Those poses that are the hardest, they might be the most beneficial pose. Would we benefit if we just did all the easy poses? Good. Now moving back to down dog. Toes under. As you lift, just breathe. Feel the real deep strength each time you do this. Like, that feeling of straightening your arms and really work the legs to straighten your legs. So, again, knees are going to touch down and you are on all fours. So here we go into our little balance. And we're going to do this lightly back and forth. So left foot moves out to the left, just slightly. Right leg starts to reach back and really push into that bottom leg. You press down to lift and open. So there is almost a very neutral kind of plank element to this. You are not in a back bend at all. So lengthen the back of your body. Even look up a little bit here. Or if that makes you feel stressed out, you can look down. And then letting go. The hand comes down, the knee comes down very lightly. Open right foot to the right, and then left leg as it reaches back. Navel in right away. Use the abdominal strength. Lift the chest, open up here. Really press that right leg down. Lift, open. Now, as you let go, you get to kind of flow right into the other side. So you need to ground down and just let the body move at its own pace, back and forth. With this quality of patience, you really start to move into the pose that works for your body. And we move at a very smooth pace. It's actually quite silent as you land and transition. You might just hear the smoothness of the breath. So no gasping. Whole body involved. Your shoulders are staying back away from your ears. Your neck is long. Windpipe is open. So the breath can flow into the whole body. So when you feel like, okay, I'm ready to do something else, that's a good moment to just smile, to bring in that little smile and go, oh, hello, impatience. Guess what? We're doing this right now. You could remain certain that we will move on to something else. Right now, you're wholeheartedly doing this. Now, as you release, you might finish up next time you open to your left. Like that could be your last one, and then you'll transition to your down dog again. And then in your own way, just walk forward towards your hands and push right into the feet. Come all the way up to standing. Arms come down alongside you. With the arms down alongside you, grow the space across your chest. Good. And then we'll take and just turn to one side so you can open your feet wide apart. So let's actually take, the feet are pretty wide here, but just one at a time, rotate your feet out to the side. And then start to do the little squat here. You're sitting down, inner thighs, get that big stretch, reaching out. Notice like you can lift your toes up, keep the feet kind of fluffy. So my hands are just on my thighs, shoulders relaxed down, but then go ahead and just reach your right arm up. Now as it reaches up, your right hip, like don't start to lift up here. So that way you're stretching that right side of your body. Lift your right armpit, drop your right hip down. Good, and then we just switch. So just notice, like when you reach up, let that left hip get a little heavy, and then that armpit lifts, like your rib cage lifts. As you let go, to switch sides. Lots of space in your throat. Reach your knees out to the side again. So kind of light. Switching. Good. And then come up to straighten your legs. And let's take the feet parallel. So the feet are just parallel here. You're really just standing upright. But also we're going to reach the arms up. So when you're reaching the arms up, notice that your quads, your thighs really work here. It's like you're pulling your kneecaps up a little. Really hoist up, like the kneecaps lift, pulls your thighs up, and that pulls the front of the hips up and your hip bones up. And from there, open the right foot to the right. Bend the right knee, even take a wider stance to keep that lift of the hip bones. Align your windpipe so you can still breathe, keeping the heart lifted. Reach the arms out wide. Even feel like you're working to straighten your arms here. Warrior 2. So the more we have, space within, you can breathe. That will help really plant those seeds of patience. So you can honestly tell yourself, like, I'm okay. This is a lot of work, or maybe a lot of sensation, but I'm okay. Now notice that your arms are in this kind of T position, and maintain that as you start to straighten your right leg and move towards a triangle pose. So you're straightening both legs. Again, you lift up through your thighs. Like you're pulling up. Hinge over very lightly. Right hand touches the right leg. Lengthen, grow your spine. So it's like your knees are very happy here because your legs are straight. Let's see what that feels like. In fact, do a little bend of your right knee. So instead of keeping that right knee soft, straighten, straighten, straighten with deep strength. Push down into the floor. Good. And now back to Warrior 2. So we intentionally bend that right knee and we come up. Up, 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 up. Reach the arms out. Really bend the right knee. Good. And then just let go. Arms come down. As the legs straighten, we're going to go ahead and take the feet parallel for a moment here. Actually, let's do this. Step the feet together. Just straight together. Arms down alongside you. Standing upright. Tadasana. So is it a little easier to be just patient here to really drop into the body? I mean, even in Tadasana, when we're standing upright, sometimes we'll still keep kind of fidgeting with this pose. Like, I don't know, I just feel a little off balance. And so allow awareness to move into the body without that continual urge to just fix the body. Just feel like, okay, that's what it feels like to stand upright. Spacious breath. So align your airways. Good. And now we will step wide and go to the other side. So as you step feet wide apart, pelvis, like notice pelvis and lower back here, that you want that lift all the way up. Starts at your kneecaps, that pulling up. Arms reach up. The soles of the feet nice and open. Lift up. Almost like you're pulling your legs like right up into their sockets. All the way up to your navel. And then your left foot opens to your left. And you start to bend that left knee. Maybe step wider apart. And then as the arms reach out side to side, lift the chest. Just breathing. Like even the position where you're looking or facing, that you're intentional. Keep bringing awareness fully here. Good. Now notice arms are at the T, like they're reaching way out. Your shoulder blades are on your back. You start to straighten that left leg. And as it straightens, you hinge in that hip, staying strong and balanced. So you're exploring the depth of that crease, that flexion in the hip. Now maybe the arms don't stay at this perfect T position, but that bottom left hand lightly touches the leg. You could keep your shoulder blades pressing on your back. Draw your navel in. Either pull up through your legs. So strong, balanced. So with patience, we have this kind of talking to ourselves like, okay, this is hard, but I'm okay. Rather than waiting, we're moving deeper into the pose. Little bend of left knee, straighten. And then little bend of left knee and come up. Move back to that warrior two. Just reaching out. Even if you feel like, oh, fatigue. Smile in, like, I'm okay. Good. And then as the arms come down, straighten legs. And take your legs back to feet being parallel, even point your toes in a little bit. Let's move to forward bend. So keep a little lift of your heart. Lift up your legs as you fold over. Completely drop your head here. Even shake your head a little bit. Feel free to move your feet if they want to move a little wider. No, do just that little back and forth where you bend your right knee
You might walk your hands a little over to the right, but really straighten and lengthen your inner left leg. And then switch. Walking hands a little to the left, bend the left knee slightly. But this is like a strong, intentional position. You're not drooping. Do this back and forth. Explore that little bend of the right knee and then the left knee. Just breathing back and forth. So, that the legs are really, they're strong as you're doing this. Come on up, push into the feet, and come all the way up. So, take the feet closer together, arms down, standing tall. Move now towards the front of your mat. Let's just reach the arms up. Move to your forward bend. And let yourself step back to down dog. So you're going to let your knees lightly touch down. And we're going to do that little twist that we started out with earlier, where we just open to one side. But now that we've warmed up a little bit, we're going to take that into the thread the needle position. Okay. So knees are a little wider apart, but like big toes are touching. And as you open to your right, you let that right shoulder, right arm really open up here. So you're feeling that nice that length of your spine as you're twisting. Your shoulders are back away from your ears. So that's really important as we thread this needle here. So you're going to take your right hand and it's going to thread under your left arm. Your right palm is up. And as it really threads through, you land on your upper right arm and on the side of your head. So make sure you're not letting your shoulders crush down to your ears. Twisting, breathing here. The hips reach back. So you're lengthening your spine, the sides of your body. And then I just like to take my left hand off of my mat a little bit and just press that left hand into the floor to open your left shoulder. So you should easily be able to like lift your head a little bit and adjust where your head is touching the floor, because the weight is on your upper right arm. Twisting, breathing here. Now take that left hand back on your mat and then push into that left hand to come up. So you're just lifting up your back, all fours. And your left arm just reaches out to the left and you open up to your left. Keep the length of your spine. Now, as your left hand threads under your right arm, your left palm is up. And it really pulls through so that you land on that upper left arm. And then you're able to just lightly place your head down. So you're not like crushing your weight onto your head or your face. It's very light. The right hand can shift off of the mat and like press that hand down, because that will then push your right shoulder open and deepen your twist. We add the breath so we can feel like what's happening in this twist. So if the threading, I didn't say this on the first slide, but if this threading is just painful and it feels like it doesn't work, you could stay with that twist we did earlier where we just were going back and forth. Make sure sides of the body are lengthening and you are reaching your hips back, rather than kind of the crumpling of the sides of your body. Twisting. Again, like I can lift my head up, it's very light on your head. Now, as your right hand comes back to the mat, that hand is going to really help to pushes you back up. Knees come a little closer together. After that twist, take yourself to a final down dog. Lengthen the spine. And then let your knees touch down. And just move yourself to a little cat and cow action. Spine is moving here with your breath. Really get into that strong exhale. You squeeze. And that inhale, you drink in. Good. Now, as you let this go, you're going to move onto your back. We're going to do just a couple final little actions, a couple little poses here on your back. I have found a lot that, especially for your neck, your kind of neck and upper back, thoracic area, the pose of bridge pose is just so beneficial. So as you recline, let's do a couple things. You're going to lay back here and just prepare for your bridge pose, just to see how this feels now through your neck. And it really is like just this great relief of all the tension that we hold in our neck. So shoulder blades pull underneath you. Your arms are right alongside you. Knees are bent, so you push into your feet. And as you push into your feet, you draw your tailbone in. You really do that scoop of your tailbone. And as the tailbone keeps lifting, you lift your butt away from the floor. Now, if we're going to be patient here, you really have to find how high should I lift? So you're lifting the tailbone, but then shoulders roll under a little bit more. Lift your breastbone up. Now, as you lift your breastbone, the throat really opens up. So as you lift your breastbone, you don't want to crush your chin down at all. So chin is light. Close your eyes now and just breathe into your whole body. Just feel the effort of this, but no strain at all. wide across the chest. Ground your upper arms. Slowly lower down. As you lower down, reach your arms out to the side. Lift your feet away from the floor a little bit, and then squeeze your legs together. Start to drop your knees back and forth. Keep your shoulders really anchored and heavy. And just feel this twist. Really fluid twisting back and forth. You could intentionally do this slow. And that's why I like to practice in a way that's almost like excruciatingly slow, because that's when we come face to face with impatience. And we can cultivate patience, therefore, mindfulness, and all of the beautiful qualities that come with. Like, this is the road to compassion. When we have that little smile that comes in. Now, as you pause right in the center, you're going to take your feet back down to the mat. Arms drop down alongside you. And just even a really small way, just go to your bridge pose. Just lift up. Kind of blossom upward. Allow the shoulders to drop down really wide across your upper back, and then you just lower down. And then you lift again. So this is a great one for just an easeful, fluid movement. Very therapeutic. Feel the breath in your nose, the deep flow of breath here. Your chest, around your heart, and around even your upper chest, your collarbones. Do two more. Now, as you land, you're going to be completely still. Even just let your knees drop together. Maybe your feet go a little wider apart. You could also take your hands on the lower pelvis, just right around your hip creases. Be still here. No effort. Now move to Shavasana. With great compassion, positioning your bones. There are times when we feel like, oh, I don't have time for Shavasana. Now, of course, there are times maybe that's true. You
you have to leave class early. But, this is a mindfulness will take us right to the truth. You might have that little talk with yourself, honey, allow this stillness. Practice wholeheartedly. Maybe the hardest pose there is of Shavasana, putting everything down, of letting go of control. Bring your full awareness to the space around your eyes. So letting go of any tension around your eyes. Move into present experience, letting go. Allow the skin on your face to soften, your whole skull, relaxing around your brain. Moving in just to a deep presence of being with your body, your heart, your mind. And connecting to the earth. Just let yourself release and sink into the earth. This is a subtle action. Like patience doesn't accidentally happen. You really align with it. It helps us grow a skillful relationship with time. Feel the space of your throat soften. Maybe go back to the space at your eyes. Your whole head, neck, shoulders, release. Notice that you're breathing. Little trickle of breath. The skin now, soft, the whole body just draped with the soft skin. Maybe a brightness and a calm in the mind. Just here, quiet. Whole body now, letting go again. And then as you bring awareness to your whole body, you allow yourself to transition as you let go of Shavasana. So there's a real intentional movement now back into your day. You might stretch the arms, just do some kind of any kind of a morning stretch is really good to kind of alert the nervous system that there's this action of being present, alert as you come back up to seated. And as you take palms together in front of the heart, you might notice like one little practice we did today that you could take with you. This feeling that we cultivate, an actual physical feeling of patience. So practical, we can bring it in anytime. And we've tasted it here. When we have that vibration of patience, it so deeply affects everyone around us. So let's send out the wish. May all beings benefit from our efforts, our efforts here, this formal practice here, and as we move into our day. Close with the sound of Om, taking a deep inhale. Deep gratitude. Thank you so much for being here and practicing together. Thanks, everyone. It really does inspire me to keep practicing and sharing these classes. I'm sure we'll meet again, hopefully. Let's see, I will remind you that I do have class tomorrow morning. If that ever makes sense for you, Saturday morning, it's a 2-hour class. I call it a mini retreat because it really can feel different to give yourself 2 hours of practice. And it is an all level class. It's not like it's an advanced class because it's 2 hours. That class is also listed on my website. It's a Zoom class. So my website, you could easily find by Googling Nancy Boler, but it's at boleryoga.com, BOLER, boleryoga.com. So yeah, and feel free as we're leaving here, if you want to leave a comment in the chat, feel free to contact me with any kind of feedback or anything at all. But yeah, it just can really have an impact to connect here and with our fellow yogis, and so much with our patience of this is how it is now. And in a quirky way, we can put on that smile that just, helps us dig deep into our deepest well of strength. Thanks so much, Andrew, from the Floating Perspectives. It's such a great name. Yeah, have a wonderful day, everyone. Hope to see you soon. I will mention too on my website, I have other little Zoom classes during the week that are just half-hour classes. So that too, I could meet you on Zoom there. All right. Have a wonderful, fruitful practice.